pricing practices in the lithium market are changing pretty rapidly as this market grows and evolves. We're seeing lithium go from being quite a small and niche market where prices could be fixed and agreed for fairly long durations to one that is requiring much more dynamic variable pricing to keep pace with the ever-changing supply and demand picture. The current price volatility that we're seeing is seeing this transition accelerate, with contracts for both existing and new supply increasingly being negotiated to reference spot indices in some fashion. The spread of value across spot to contract prices that we've been seeing in lithium in recent years is really a reflection of the market's immaturity with respect to pricing. And it's not something we really see across other more developed markets. We do expect that in time, lithium will gravitate towards pricing contracts with reference to certain key spot benchmarks, albeit though still importantly with considerable variability in contract price realization, depending on the negotiation of premiums and discounts to reflect quality and commercial complexities. The current high prices that we're seeing are both incentivizing a supply response from producers and also really starting to squeeze consumer margins. Unfortunately, this margin pressure is likely to get worse before it gets better due to the lagging nature of most contract pricing mechanisms, meaning that the current spot market prices are not really yet fully felt along the supply chain. Not only that, but the supply response that we are seeing has also been slower than what is likely needed to balance the market in the near term. That's creating a demand constraint as consumption can't exceed available supply, and that's also requiring automakers to revisit their intended production plans and adapt for a more raw material constrained and higher cost environment. A more mature spot index-based pricing mechanism with a transparent price signal is absolutely essential to moderate volatility over the longer term. Such a mechanism also facilitates the development of a derivatives market for hedging risk. Exchanges like the LME, CME, and SGX have all launched or announced futures contracts that are cash settled against the Fastmarkets lithium indices. And that will allow market participants who are exposed to these indices through their physical contracts to independently lock in future prices. Participants will have the option of hedging some or none of their exposure according to their own individual requirements and risk tolerances. But the ability to protect margins in this way along the supply chain should create a more robust and resilient supply chain and facilitate the stronger growth of the lithium industry.